Hello once again. This example illustrates how a monopoly behaves in order to maximize profit. Similar to the previous exercise under perfect competition, remember, you always start from here. Marginal revenue has to be equal to marginal cost. And once again, let's suppose that the input information that you are given is this. You have the inverse demand function, of course with a negative sign because it's a demand. You also are given the cost function, and you are supposed to find the optimal price and the optimal amount of production to maximize profit, as well as pi, the profit the maximum level of profits that this monopoly can make. So let's figure out marginal revenue. If you remember, the first thing that you need to do is to calculate marginal revenue from the inverse demand function, which, remember, the marginal revenue always cuts the x-axis at half, the distance between 0 and q. So that means, as you remember from your readings and the lecture, that marginal revenue is essentially the following: 100 minus 2 times 2q, right? So in other words, this is equal to 100 minus 4q. So that is, well, essentially a very easy calculation. For marginal cost, similar to what I did before, once again, the derivative of the cost function with respect to q is going to give you that marginal cost is equal to 2. Again, I am not going to ask you this part. I'm just going to say, okay, the marginal cost function, well, in this case is equal to 2, or whatever it may be in a different case. So all you need to do is, once again, to equate marginal revenue, which is 100 minus 4q, has to be equal to marginal cost, which in this case is 2. So you solve for q, and this is going to give you that essentially, and basically q equals 24.5. How do I know that? Well, because I am dividing, I'm skipping one step here. Q is equal to 98 divided by 4, and this is going to give you that the optimal amount of production for this monopoly is 24.5. So you get Q star. In order to get P star, the profit, the price that maximizes profit, well, you need to go back to the inverse demand function and substitute Q here. So let's do that. Price, the optimal price, has to be equal to 100 minus 2 times 24.5, which is equal to, well, I'm skipping a few steps, essentially 51, $51. So here you have P star, the price that maximizes profit. And finally, you are asked to calculate profit, which, once again, if you remember, profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost, which in this case is equal to P star multiplied by Q star minus the total cost, which you are given here, is going to be equal to minus 10 minus 2 times Q star. So if you make the substitutions here, you are going to get $51 multiplied by 24.5 minus 10 minus 2 times 24.5. So you can use your calculator, and you are going to find that the level of profit for this monopolist is essentially $1,190 with 50 cents. So here you have pi as well. Now, just to complement this exercise, what this means is the following. So if you remember, in the case of monopoly, you have price, you have Q, and this is your demand curve, right? This is your demand curve. And you also know that the marginal revenue is right here, cutting the x-axis here at the half the distance between 0 and q, right? And you also, in this case, are given this cost function, which if you plot the marginal cost function, which in this case is equal to 2. $2 would be around right here. This is the marginal cost function. The intersection of the marginal revenue and marginal cost function is essentially the equivalent of this mathematical equality. In other words, the golden rule is expressed graphically at this intersection point, because if you go down from this intersection point and you hit Q, well, this Q is precisely Q star, which in this case is 24.5. And if you go all the way up from this point until you hit the demand curve, you are going to find price, P star, which in this case is equal to $51, right? So again, all I'm trying to do is to try to connect, well, the numbers, the basic concepts, and the charts. So let me change colors very quickly so that I can highlight this. Remember, the marginal revenue equal to marginal cost equality, the golden rule, is or has a graphical expression right here in this green dot. The intersection of marginal cost and marginal revenue is going to give you Q star if you go down until you hit the Q, the x-axis, and if you go up and then you take a left, you're going to have P star, which in this particular example is $51 in price, 24.5 in amount produced, and the total level of profits is equal to this amount. All right, I hope this helps. If you have comments, questions, let me know.